All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I am Saira Mujtaba and with me is Sunil Verma. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate Maitri Setu connecting India and Bangladesh today. President Ramnath Kovind will be on a 3-day visit to Tamil Nadu. Filing of nomination papers for first phase of Assam Assembly elections ends today. Parliament to resume normal sitting from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. today. Delhi government to present 2021-22 budget today. 11 volumes of Srimad Bhagavad Gita manuscripts to be released by Prime Minister this evening. JEE mains results announced. 6 candidates score 100 percentile. 9 persons killed in a fire accident in Kolkata. Railways Minister orders high-level inquiry. Philippines vaccine head Carlito Galvez to visit India today to finalize agreements with vaccine manufacturers. All helpline numbers of railways merged into single number 139 for queries, complaints and assistance. And in hockey, Indian men's team defeats Britain 3-2 in the 4th and final match of Europe Tour. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. In a significant boost to connectivity between India and Bangladesh, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the Maitri Setu connecting Tripura to Bangladesh today. A special report from our Dhaka correspondent.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate Maitri Setu between India and Bangladesh today via video conferencing. The Prime Minister will also inaugurate and lay the foundation stone of several infrastructure projects during the event. The inauguration of the bridge on the Feni River will give a major boost to connectivity between northeast of India and Bangladesh. With this bridge connecting Sabroom in India with Ramgarh in Bangladesh, Tripura is set to become the gateway of northeast with access to Chittagong port of Bangladesh, which is just 80 kilometers from Sabroom. The construction of the 1.9 kilometer long bridge was taken up by the National Highways and Infrastructure Development Corporation Limited at a project cost of rupees 133 crore. The Prime Minister will also lay the foundation stone for setting up an integrated check post at Sabroom. It will ease the movement of goods and passengers between the 2 countries and provide new market opportunities for products of northeast states. Rajesh Jha for AIR News, Dhaka.
The Prime Minister will lay the foundation stone of NH208 connecting the Unakoti district headquarters at Kailashhar with the Khawai district headquarters. It will provide an alternative route to the NH44. The Prime Minister will also inaugurate state highways and other district roads developed by the state government with a financial outlay of 63.75 crore rupees. They will provide all-weather connectivity to the people of Tripura. The Prime Minister will inaugurate 40,978 houses constructed under Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban, completed with the financial outlay of 813 crore rupees. He will also inaugurate the Integrated Command and Control Centre built under Agartala Smart City Mission. The Prime Minister will lay the foundation stone for the development of a multi-level car parking and commercial complex at Old Motor Stand. President Ramnath Kovind will be on a 3-day visit to Tamil Nadu from today. Mr. Kovind will visit Vellore today to grace the 16th annual convocation of the Thiruvalluvar University. The President will grace the 41st annual convocation of Anna University in Chennai tomorrow.
Tamil Nadu is gearing up for the single-phase assembly elections on April the 6th. Nominations are to begin this Friday. The AIADMK combined still has to allot seats for the DMDK party headed by Vijayakant. The alliance already has BJP contesting in 20 seats and the lone Kanyakumari Lok Sabha by-election and PMK in 23 seats. In the DMK front, 57 seats have been allotted to its allies and the party has kept 177 seats for itself.
Seat allocation for Kongu Nadu Desiya Makkal Katchi is to be finalized today. It is to be noted that 11 alliance party candidates in the DMK front would be contesting in the Rising Sun symbol. The VCK and the IUML in the alliance will face elections in a different symbol. The Congress party would fight it out in 25 places and the lone Kanyakumari by-election. The parties have released manifestos promising homemakers financial assistance to partly bear the cost of rising prices. When DMK assured 1,000 rupees to families, AIA-DMK has assured 1,500 rupees monthly honorarium to women family heads along with 6 domestic cylinders per year free of cost. Joy, AIA News, Chennai.
In Kerala, as the assembly elections are just a month away, discussions on candidate selection and seat sharing of major political fronts is in final phase. More from our Thiruvananthapuram correspondent.
It is being reported that the seat-sharing talks has been completed in the LDF. Although consensus has been reached regarding candidate selection in CPM and CPI, the final decision will be available only after few days. Seat sharing in UDF has also been completed. The announcement regarding Congress candidates shall be made after forwarding the list to the central leadership. The seat sharing talks in the NDA had almost concluded and the final list of candidates is expected to be announced soon. Meanwhile, today is the last date for voters to add their names to electoral rolls for upcoming assembly polls in the state. Names can be added through the website voterportal.eci.in. Voters can also visit websites ceo.kerala.gov.in or nsvp.in to check whether their names are included in the electoral roll. Mayusha for AR News from Thiruvananthapuram.
In the poll-bound Union Territory of Puducherry, seat-sharing talks for alliance are still inconclusive in both the major political fronts. More from our Puducherry correspondent.
The seat-sharing talks between the Congress and DMK in the Union Territory remained inconclusive till now. Talking to news persons, Mr. Narayanasamy said both the parties exchanged the views on the number of seats each should contest. He further said that steps would be taken to finalize the number of seats soon. All India NR Congress founder leader N. Rangasamy maintaining silence and so far no official announcement released regarding the alliance with the BJP. Sources said that Rangasamy is awaited to name him as chief ministerial candidate. However, Puducherry BJP State President Saminathan claimed that the party's alliance with All India NR Congress will continue for the upcoming polls and that decision would be made public soon. Patali Makkal Katchi convener Dhanraj and BJP in charge of Puducherry Nirmal Kumar Surana held talks in a private hotel here to decide the number of seats it should contest in NDA. Later, Mr. Dhanraj told news persons that the PMK should get at least 5 seats, 4 in Puducherry and 1 in Karaikal, he said. Chandramohan, AR News, Puducherry.
In poll-bound Assam, today is the last day of filing nomination papers in the first phase. So far, 52 candidates have submitted nomination papers. Polling will be held in 47 seats in this phase on the 27th of this month. Chief Minister and senior BJP leader Sarbanand Sonowal will submit his nomination today at Majule. More from our Guwahati correspondent.
Assam Chief Minister and senior BJP leader Sarbanand Sonowal will fight from Majuli seat again. Senior party leader and Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh, Assam Gana Parishad President Otul Bora, among others, will accompany him in nomination filing. Several senior leaders are vying in the first phase in Assam. State Congress President Ripun Bora has submitted nomination at Gohpur constituency. Assam Gana Parishad President Otul Bora and Executive President Keshav Mahanta have also submitted nomination papers. Jail leader of Raizer Dol, Akhil Gogoi, also filed nomination at Guwahati Medical College and Hospital yesterday. Senior BJP leader and Speaker of the State Assembly Hitendranath Goswami at Jorhat, Senior Minister Ranjit Datta at Behali and Minister Nobokumar Dole filed nomination at Dokuakhana. On the other hand, President of Regional Party Assam Jatiya Parishad Lurinjyoti Gogoi and Senior Leader of the party Jagdish Bhuya also filed nomination. Manaspatim Sharma, AR News, Guwahati.
Ahead of the assembly elections in West Bengal, 5 Trinamool Congress MLAs, including the former Deputy Speaker of the State Legislative Assembly, Sonali Guha, joined the BJP. The other 4 MLAs are Rabindranath Bhattacharya, Jatu Lahiri, Sheetal Sardar and Dipendu Biswas. All of them joined the BJP at Kolkata in presence of State BJP Chief Dilip Ghosh. None of them were given tickets for the ensuing assembly elections by the TMC chief, Mamata Banerjee, when she announced the names of 291 candidates for all 8 phases of polling in the state last week. Sarala Murmu, the earlier candidate of TMC from Habibpur seat, also joined the BJP. TMC has changed their candidate and named Pradeep Baske in place of Murmu.
The Parliament will resume its normal 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. sitting from today. The decision was taken yesterday in the meeting of the Business Advisory Committee of both the houses, with members from across 20 political parties attending the meet. The members of both the houses will be seated in their respective chambers and galleries. Due to COVID-19, the two houses had adopted staggered timings, with Rajya Sabha sitting from 9 a.m. till 2 p.m., while Lok Sabha functioning from 4 p.m. till 9 p.m. Yesterday, the Rajya Sabha was adjourned for the day amid protest and sloganeering of the Congress MPs over the issue of rise in fuel and LPG prices. Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha, Harivansh, said that the matter cannot be discussed. The Lok Sabha is scheduled to take up discussion and voting today on the demands for grants under the control of the Ministry of Railways for 2021-22, the National Capital Territory of Delhi Law's Special Provisions, Second Amendment Bill 2021, and the Constitution Scheduled Castes Order Amendment Bill 2021 is scheduled to come up for discussion in the lower house. In the Rajya Sabha, the Arbitration and Conciliation Amendment Bill 2021 and the National Institutes of Food Technology, Entrepreneurship and Management Bill 2019 is scheduled to be taken up for discussion.
The budget session of Delhi Assembly began yesterday with the address of Lieutenant Governor Anil Baijal. Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia, who also holds the finance portfolio, presented the Economic Survey of Delhi and the status report of outcome budget in the Assembly. Today, Mr. Sisodia will present the budget in the Assembly. The budget session of Delhi Assembly will be held till the 16th of this month. The Madhya Pradesh Assembly on Monday passed Madhya Pradesh Freedom of Religion Bill 2021 that penalizes religious conversion through marriage or any other fraudulent means and provides for a prison sentence of up to 10 years. Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan has said that Madhya Pradesh has got a strong law in form of Freedom of Religion Act on International Women's Day to stop religious conversion under pressure by allurement and fear. State Home Minister Nadu Mishra termed it Empowerment to Women on International Women's Day. Madhya Pradesh Freedom of Religion Bill 2021 passed yesterday by the State Assembly replaced an ordinance promulgated by the state government on January 9.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will release 11 volumes of manuscript with commentaries by 21 scholars on shloks of Srimad Bhagavad Gita this evening at Lok Kalyan Marg, New Delhi. Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha and Dr. Karan Singh will also be present on the occasion. A report.
In general, the practice with Srimad Bhagavad Gita is to present the text with a single commentary. For the first time, many of the key commentaries by celebrated Indian scholars are being brought together for achieving a comprehensive and comparative appreciation of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. The manuscript, published by Dharma Trust, is written with extraordinary variety and nuance of Indian calligraphy, ranging from Sankar Bhashya to Bhashanuvad. Anupam Mishra, AR News, Delhi.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that celebration of 75 years of independence should be one such festival in which the spirit of freedom struggle, tribute to the martyrs and their pledge to create India could be experienced. Mr. Modi said this festival should embody the glimpse of the glory of Sanatan Bharat and also the glow of modern India. The Prime Minister said this while chairing the first meeting of the National Committee to commemorate 75 years of independence, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, virtually yesterday.
आजादी का ये अमृत महोत्सव, आजादी के 75 साल के इस आयोजन के लिए हम सब ने जो विचार आए थे उसको जब समेटते थे तो एक मोटा मोटा जो खाका बनता था वो 5 स्तंभ में हम उसको विभाजित कर सकते हैं. एक तो फ्रीडम स्ट्रगल, आइडियाज एट 75, अचीवमेंट्स एट 75, एक्शंस एट 75 और रिजॉल्व एट 75. हमें इन 5 को लेकर आगे बढ़ना है. हम वो लोग हैं जिन्हें आजादी में देश की आजादी के लिए मरने का मौका नहीं मिला है, लेकिन हमें देश के लिए जीने का मौका मिला है. हमें देश के लिए कुछ करने का मौका मिला है और हमारी आने वाली पीढ़ियों के अंदर भी यही भाव प्रबल हो, तब जाकर के 2047 जब देश की आजादी के 100 साल होंगे, तब हम देश को जहां ले जाना चाहते हैं उस सपनों को पूरा करने के लिए पूरा देश चल पड़ेगा। देश में हो रहे नए नए फैसले, नई नई सोच, आत्मनिर्भर भारत जैसे संकल्प, इन्हीं प्रयासों का साकार रूप है।
Various members of the National Committee attended the meeting. The members of the National Committee have given their suggestions and inputs to further expand the scope of the Mahotsav. The members of the committee thanked the Prime Minister for the planning and organization of the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. The Union Home Minister said that there will be more such meetings in the future and suggestions and inputs received will be considered.
According to the National Testing Agency, 6 candidates have scored 100 percentile in JEE mains, results of which were announced yesterday. The students are Prabar Kataria and Ranjim Prabal Das from Delhi, Anant Krishna Kidambi from Gujarat, Siddhant Mukherjee from Maharashtra, Gur Amrit Singh from Chandigarh and Saket Jha from Rajasthan. Over 6.5 lakh candidates had registered for the entrance exam. For the first time, the exam was conducted in 13 languages. From this year, the exam will be conducted 4 times a year to offer flexibility to students and a chance to improve their scores. News in poll-bound West Bengal. Today is the last day of filing nomination papers for the first phase. Polling will be held in 30 seats across 5 districts in this phase on the 27th of this month. The Election Commission has identified all the booths of this phase as sensitive booths.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate Maitri Setu, connecting India and Bangladesh today. President Ramnath Kovind will be on a 3-day visit to Tamil Nadu. Filing of nomination papers for first phase of Assam Assembly elections ends today. Parliament to resume normal sitting from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. today. Delhi government to present 2021-2022 budget today. 11 volumes of Srimad Bhagavad Gita manuscripts to be released by Prime Minister this evening. JEE mains results announced. 6 candidates score 100 percentile. 9 persons killed in a fire accident in Kolkata. Railways Minister orders high-level inquiry. Philippines vaccine head Carlito Galvez to visit India today to finalize agreements with vaccine manufacturers. All helpline numbers of railways merged into single number 139 for queries, complaints and assistance. And in hockey, Indian men's team defeats Britain 3-2 in the 4th and final match of Europe Tour. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
Welcome back. You're listening to the morning news. In Kolkata, 9 persons, including 4 firefighters, have died as a major fire broke out in a multi-storied building last evening. According to government officials, the fire broke out at around 6 p.m. in the evening on the 13th floor of the new Koila Ghat building at Strand Road, which houses offices of the Eastern Railways and South Eastern Railways, and a computerized ticket booking centre on the ground floor. A senior officer of the Railways, 1 RPF constable and an ASI of Kolkata Police were also among the deceased. 2 persons are yet to be identified. Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, 2 state ministers and higher officials of the state administration rushed to the spot last night. Ms. Banerjee has announced an ex gratia payment of 10 lakh rupees to the next of the kin of the deceased. 20 fire tenders and a hydraulic ladder were pressed into service to douse the fire. Disaster management teams reached the spot and retrieved the bodies from the building, which were sent to the SSKM hospital for post-mortem. The fire was brought under control after more than 5 hours. Online booking system of the railways was also hampered due to the incident. Union Railways Minister Piyush Goyal has ordered a high-level inquiry consisting of 4 principal heads of railways departments to ascertain the cause of the fire at Eastern Railways Strand Road office in Kolkata. Mr. Goyal said all possible assistance has been provided by the railways to the West Bengal government in view of the incident. He said railways officials, including the general manager, are at the site and working in coordination with the state government for rescue and relief efforts.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has expressed grief over the loss of lives due to the fire tragedy in Kolkata. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said, in this hour of sadness, his thoughts are with the bereaved families. He wished the injured a speedy recovery. Mr. Modi has approved an ex gratia of 2 lakh rupees each from the Prime Minister's National Relief Fund, PMNRF, for the next of kin of those who have lost their lives. The Prime Minister's office said 50,000 rupees would be given to those seriously injured. Odisha government has constituted a high-level task force to manage forest fires with more focus. The task force, headed by a former Principal Chief Conservator of Forest, will review the ongoing fire incidents, causes and containment and suggest measures to augment fire management protocols and community participation, among others. A report.
The constitution of the task force is backgrounded against Odisha's annual face-off with the devastating menace of forest fire between mid-February to mid-June. The immediate trigger, however, was the recent concerns expressed by the media and several persons, including the 2 union ministers from Odisha, Dharmendra Pradhan and Pratap Chandra Sarangi, over the forest fire that continues to leap across the Similipal Tiger Reserve in the Mayurbhanj district of the state, which also is one of the few important biospheres of the country. Meanwhile, the State Forest Department has engaged about 1,200 persons, along with around 300 fire extinguishers and 40 firefighting vehicles, to control the fire raging in the Similipal Tiger Reserve, which has already witnessed about 1,500 points across the reserve catching fire in the last 1 month alone. Girish Chandra Das, AIR News, Bhubaneswar.
The Indian Railways has integrated all railway helplines into a single number, 139, which is Rail Madad Helpline for quick grievance redressal and inquiry during the journey. As the new helpline number 139 takes over all the existing helpline numbers, it will be easy for passengers to remember this number and connect with railways for all their needs during the travel. The Ministry of Railways in a statement said that various railways grievances helplines were discontinued last year, and now helpline number 182 would also be discontinued from 1st of April 2021 and will be merged into 139. The cumulative number of COVID-19 vaccine doses administered in the country has crossed 2.26 crores. A total of 2,26,85,598 vaccine doses have been given till now. On the 52nd day of nationwide COVID-19 vaccination, a total of 16,96,588 vaccine doses were given. The countrywide vaccination drive was rolled out on the 16th of January this year, and vaccination of frontline workers started from the 2nd of last month. The next phase of COVID-19 vaccination has commenced from 1st of this month for those who are over 60 years of age and for people aged 45 and above with specified comorbid conditions. Bihar created a record of sorts when it inoculated over 1,73,000 people with COVID-19 vaccine yesterday. Health Minister Mangal Pandey said this was the highest single-day inoculation in the state, and out of these, 1,209 were women. So far, over 10,15,000 people have been vaccinated in the state. In Maharashtra, 9,068 COVID-19 patients recovered yesterday, taking the total number of recoveries to 20.77 lakhs. In the same period, Maharashtra reported 8,744 new cases of coronavirus, taking the state's tally of total cases to 22.28 lakh. According to the state's Public Health Department, 22 fatalities were reported in the state. The state's death toll has risen to 52,500. The number of active cases in the state stands at 97,637.
All India Radio News honors women achievers from diverse fields by bringing their stories as part of the celebration of International Women's Day. Today, we bring you the story of a great achiever in the field of medicine. Dr. Priya Abraham, Director, National Institute of Virology, Pune, shares her experiences of dealing with COVID-19 pandemic. Talking to All India Radio News, Dr. Priya said, the indigenous COVID-19 vaccine is safe.
It is true that vaccines have been licensed for use in a very, very short span of time compared to earlier vaccines. But for a vaccine to actually be approved by a licensing agency in any country, including ours, it has to first go through preclinical trials. That means it first goes through a series of animal models and see whether, one, the first concern is any vaccine safe. The second is how efficient, its efficacy. Is it able to prevent illness or at least serious illness? So that has been done in animals and then only we came to human beings, and even that goes through phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 trials.
Chief Implementer of the Philippines Declared National Policy Against COVID, Carlito Galvez Jr. is visiting India to finalize agreements with several vaccine manufacturers. Galvez made the announcement on Monday, saying that he will be on a trip to India from March 9th to 12th to sign supply agreements and negotiate earlier deliveries of vaccines. Vaccines developed by Novavax and AstraZeneca are being manufactured by the Serum Institute of India, the world's largest vaccine manufacturer. Under the Vaccine Maitri initiative of the Government of India, 3 nations today received the Made in India COVID-19 vaccines. Planes carrying the consignments of vaccine doses landed in Jamaica, Tajikistan and Belize. In men's hockey, India beat the Great Britain 3-2 in a closely contested match at Antwerp in Belgium yesterday. Striker Mandeep Singh scored the all-important goal in the last minute of the game. It was India's 4th and final match of the Europe Tour.
And now let's take a look at the weather forecast for today. Jammu and Srinagar will have a partly cloudy sky. In Srinagar, the maximum temperature will be 14 degrees Celsius, while the minimum temperature was just 5 degrees. Leh, Gilgit and Muzaffarabad will also have a partly cloudy sky. In Leh, the maximum temperature will be around 7 degrees Celsius, while minimum temperature was -5. In Gilgit, the temperature will move from 8 to 18 degrees Celsius. In Muzaffarabad, the upper limit of temperature will be 20 degrees, while it recorded 8 degrees as the minimum temperature. In Dehradun, temperature will hover between 15 and 30 degrees Celsius. The city will have a partly cloudy sky and there is also a possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. Chandigarh will have a maximum temperature of 33 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will observe a mainly clear sky. Temperature will hover between 25 and 36 degrees Celsius.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. Papers have noticed the ongoing sittings in Parliament along with other stories. Repeated disruptions as opposition corners government over fuel price hike, writes the Tribune, while the Statesman headlines, budget session may be cut short for assembly polls. Dailies have also noticed the dip in the national capital's per capita income. Hindustan Times says Delhi's per capita income goes down to 3.54 lakh rupees. Bengal elections are also prominently noticed by the press. Hindustan Times reports stage is set for a fierce battle in TMC Bastion, while the Pioneer notes all booths in Bengal Phase 1 polls sensitive. Bartla House shootout, cops killer convicted, reports the Pioneer. And finally, a day after International Women's Day, the Times of India has noticed a number of stories related to women. Writing about 60-year-old Madhuri Mishra, it says, for 30 years she walked 8 kilometers a day to vaccinate kids in remote areas. A story about Surekha, India's first woman loco-pilot. Wasn't easy, but first woman loco-pilot stayed on track. Women farmers say it's time that we are also given farmer tag.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Modi to inaugurate Maitri Setu connecting India and Bangladesh today. President Ramnath Kovind will be on a 3-day visit to Tamil Nadu. Filing of nomination papers for first phase of Assam Assembly elections ends today. Parliament to resume normal sitting from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. today. Delhi government to present 2021-22 budget today. 11 volumes of Srimad Bhagavad Gita manuscript to be released by Prime Minister this evening. JEE mains results announced. 6 candidates score 100 percentile. 9 persons killed in a fire accident in Kolkata. Railways Minister orders high-level inquiry. Philippines vaccine head Carlito Galvez to visit India today to finalize agreements with vaccine manufacturers. All helpline numbers of railways merged into single number 139 for queries, complaints and assistance. And in hockey, Indian men's team defeats Britain 3-2 in the 4th and final match of Europe Tour. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a great day.